yes, I think there's a big effect, and obviously the polo is going to happen for sure, and there's going to be lots of the same teams and the same mentality about just getting on with it and playing polo because that's what we love doing. I think the grooms, there's grooms with European visas who are Argentines or Australians or anything are getting better paid, and which is is a positive, but it is having an effect. You can tell people people who are in the middle of maybe having a mentality of cutting down on their polo are cutting down on their polo, which will reduce. I mean, guys, we've made a prediction that we think there'll be 30% less polo or less teams in our tournaments. Hopefully we're wrong, but we'll see. It's very early to say now. It's a huge issue, yeah. It's the one thing about guards that is totally true is it's driven by its membership. Rather than, it's not a private club, it's a members club, and so if we get less money in, then it will have an effect. I think it won't have an effect this year, but obviously if this season is a disaster, which I don't think it will be, but if it is, then we will be have to look at how we maintain these things that are very expensive. We are in the castle ground, it's called, which is the new polo field at Flemish Farm, Windsor Castle. I don't know whether you can see it, but there it is. This field we've played 18 goal on and 15 goal last season, and every single game was amazing, high scores. It's very, very fast, and I think this year is going to be played for we're going to use it for the Queen's Cup. Obviously, I'm a little bit nervous about that, but and it's got new drain lines. I don't know, do you want to have a look and see? We've put these, which hopefully by the Queen's Cup will have grown over. This is which we did this winter, and I think it's going to be a great high goal field. Maybe this year, maybe one season too early, but we'll know as the warm weather starts coming and a bit of rain. This should it should be perfect, I think. The guards, we have a plan. We have permission from the Crown Estate, which is the company basically that owns the land that the guards is on, to move the road that goes behind Ground 1 and along the side of 4, 5, 6, to move that road over towards the woods on the left as you come up the hill, and which will give us room then to put in 4 new fields where 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are, and those fields will all be full irrigation. Well, they have irrigation now obviously, but they will be flat for starters, which is fundamental these days, and and they'll be fully drained, irrigated, wonderful polo fields. And that's the plan, and we start in September with moving the road. I hope we've got to find the money, but that shouldn't be a problem. 100%. We have a very positive view of actual polo, not professional polo so much. I think, which is where a lot of the if you like, where the hurt is happening now is in the professional polo. But the actual polo in England, if you look at it, is there's lots of people playing. When I was 20 years old, no one played polo in England. There were no schools that played polo. There was no pony club. There was Polo Club polo, but it wasn't in the same scale it is now. So the bottom of the pyramid, if you like, is much, much bigger than it ever was when we were kids. And yes, I think there is a massive problem with professional polo, and I think a lot of that, which we'll maybe come on to later, is to do with the fact that that has changed in the last 20 years without anyone really realizing it, that now everybody, even 1 goalers, 2 goalers, expect to get paid to play polo, which when I was a kid, that also didn't happen. So and I think a lot of people think they have a right to be paid to play polo, and I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm not sure the club can do anything, because the club is by its very nature subject to what its members do. If its members have a bad time and they come to polo and say, "Oh, I'm having a bad time," and go home having a bad time, then they're going to have a bad time. You need to make your fun. I think players, and so a club, in a sense, we are doing what we're supposed to do. We're giving you the best facility, or trying to give you the best facilities. Things go wrong, it rains, it can be, there's lots of things can make the best facilities not as good, but the base for having fun on polo, I think, but certainly cadre and guards definitely have, are trying to spend their time and effort on giving you the best polo fields that they can. On the level of whether the guys are having fun or not, I think if you can't have fun playing polo, then you need to you need to do something else. Play tennis or something, or golf, because this sport is, it's for a certain type of person. It's it's a very aggressive, extremely fast, high adrenaline, crazy sport, and and maybe people have got too worried about winning, and and which I can understand. I hate losing myself, and and you see the spend and the money and the time and the effort that you put in is too much for the fun you get out of it. But I think then if you get to that stage with it, then you have to lower your winning expectations a bit and just go, hang on a second, what am I doing? This sport, it's insane, and when it goes nicely and I have fun, it's the best thing in the world. And and then what we were talking about earlier on, I think, is also true, is that there are too many people who the first thing you say to them when you ask them about playing polo, they ask you about money, and they're trying to get money off you, and that's not what polo is about either. Of course people have to make livings, and the grooms have to be well paid, and everything has to happen like that, but fundamentally the spirit of polo is out here on a polo field going fast, and and if every time that you do anything you have to be paid to win, and you have to be incentivized to win games, and bonus because I won this game, then that for me is the end of the sport, because it's it makes it's not fun. That
perfect.